Omar had always been known for his ambition and his dreams of achieving something meaningful. But lately, every step forward seemed harder than the last, and no matter how much he tried, a heavy sense of doubt clung to him like a shadow. This doubt filled his mind with a constant loop of questions. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if everything I'm doing is pointless? One day, as Omar was walking through the desert surrounding his village, a powerful wind picked up out of nowhere. The sky, once clear, darkened as a sandstorm erupted around him. The winds howled, and clouds of sand filled the air, making it hard to see more than a few feet ahead. The sandstorm seemed almost alive, swirling and whirling, whispering Omar's own doubts back at him. "You'll never succeed," the wind hissed, echoing the doubts he'd tried so hard to ignore. "You're not strong enough, you're wasting your time." Omar struggled to keep going, but the sandstorm only grew stronger with every step. He felt trapped, his energy drained by the weight of his own negative thoughts. Just as he was about to collapse, a figure appeared in the distance, a tall, cloaked traveler who seemed unaffected by the storm. The stranger approached, holding out a hand to Omar. "You look lost, my friend," he said with a calm, steady voice. "The storm of doubt is fierce today, isn't it?" Omar nodded, exhausted. "I don't know how to get out of it," he admitted. "It feels like every step forward only makes the storm worse." The traveler smiled gently. "This storm is fueled by your own thoughts and fears. The more you let them control you, the stronger the storm becomes. But if you want to break free, you'll need to confront it." "How?" Omar asked, feeling a mix of hope and skepticism. "It feels like the storm is too powerful to face." The traveler handed Omar a small, polished stone with a symbol etched into it. "This is a grounding stone. When the storm grows too strong, hold it in your hand, take a deep breath, and focus on the present moment. Remind yourself that the storm is only as real as you allow it to be." Omar took the stone, clutching it tightly in his hand. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath, trying to silence the noise in his head. He focused on the feeling of the stone's cool surface against his skin, on the sound of his own breathing, and slowly, he noticed the sandstorm starting to settle around him. The voices of doubt grew quieter, the winds less harsh. But soon enough, the storm whipped up again, stronger this time, as if fighting back against his efforts. The traveler, still beside him, spoke again. "When doubts return, recognize them, but don't let them define you. Acknowledge the doubts, but then let them pass by, like sand slipping through your fingers." It took time, but Omar practiced every time the storm grew strong. Each time a voice of doubt surfaced, he acknowledged it and then gently let it go, reminding himself that his fears didn't define his abilities or his path forward. Eventually, Omar noticed that the sandstorm was no longer as overwhelming. Where once he could barely see, now he could make out the landscape around him, the tall dunes, the winding path forward, and the soft glow of the setting sun on the horizon. He realized he was no longer afraid. As he reached the edge of the desert, the traveler turned to Omar and nodded approvingly. "Remember," he said, "doubt will visit you again. But now you know the storm's secret. It has no power over you, unless you allow it." Omar thanked the traveler and continued his journey, carrying the grounding stone with him. From that day forward, whenever doubts arose, he remembered the storm and how he'd learned to calm it by grounding himself in the present, letting go of the fear that had once held him back. He walked on, the sandstorm now a distant memory, as he moved toward his dreams with a newfound sense of peace and confidence.